This video is about solving systems by a table. So we're going to use a table to find the solution given a system of equations. So in number one, we already have a completed table, and we're going to talk about a few elements of the table that we need to be aware of. So the first equation, which has no coefficients, is always going to be represented by our first two columns in the table. So if we have x plus y equals 6, the two numbers in these columns have to add together to become 6. So 0 plus 6, 1 plus 5, 2 plus 4, 3 plus 3, 4 plus 2, 5 plus 1, and 6 plus 0 all get us 6. And then in the third column is going to represent your second equation. And in the third column, we're trying to use basically guess and check to find our answer. So we need to figure out where the answer is going to equal negative 12. So here the table's already completed for us and shows us all the work. So if we look and we see right here is negative 12, and that happens when x is 2 and y is 4. So our solution would be 2, 4. So let's try using the table method in creating our own table. So use a table to find the solution to the system of equations. So in number 2, we have x plus y equals 9. So the first two columns together have to add up to 9. So if x is 0, we have to figure out 0 plus what gets us 9, which would be 9. And then we know 1 plus 8 is 9, 2 plus 7 is 9, 3 plus 6 is 9, 4 plus 5 is 9, 5 plus 4 is 9, 6 plus 3 is 9, 7 plus 2 is 9, 8 plus 1 is 9, and 9 plus 0 is 9. So notice that the x's are going up from 0 all the way to 9, which means that the y's are going to go in reverse. They're going to go down from 9 to 0. So that's another way to help us fill in our table. So now we're going to figure out which of these rows will equal to 8. So remember that the second equation is represented by the third column. So we need to work until we find an equation where we substitute the numbers and we get it equal to 8. So in the first row, we would have 2 times 0 minus 3 times 9, and we can put that in our calculator. 2 times 0 minus 3 times 9 gets us negative 27. Well, we're looking for 8, so that's not our solution. We got to keep going. So now we're going to do 2 times 1 minus 3 times 8, and that gets us negative 22. So we're going to keep going. So now we have 2 times 2 minus 3 times 7, and we get negative 17. And then we have 2 times 3 minus 3 times 6, which gets us negative 12. We have 2 times 4 minus 3 times 5, which gets us negative 7. So we're getting closer, and then we're going to keep going. 2 times 5 minus 3 times 4 is negative 2. 2 times 6 minus 3 times 3 gets us 3. And then we have 2 times 7 minus 3 times 2. And that gets us 8. Well, 8 was the value that we were looking for, so our solution is this row, which would be 7, 2. Remember that solution should always be written as your x coordinate and then your y coordinate. So let's try one more with a story problem. Number 3, there are 11 people who went to the baseball game and spent $225 for their tickets. The children tickets cost $15 and the adult tickets cost $25. How many adult and children went to the game? So we have two variables here. We have A for adults and we have C for children. So if 11 people went to the game, we know they have to be adults and children together. So we're going to add those together. A plus C equals 11, which is represented by the first two columns in our table. Then the second equation, we're going to have to include how much the tickets were worth in order to figure out our total cost. So we know that $25 per adult ticket plus $15 per children's ticket equals our total spent $225. So remember that our first equation needs to be represented by the first two columns of the table. So we're trying to figure out that 11 people went. So if 0 adults went, that means 11 children went. If 1 adult went, that means 10. And then we can continue counting down. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Remember that each row should always be equal to 11 because we have 11 people going in this case. Then in the last column, we're going to try to use the equation 25a plus 15c, and we want to get to equal $225. So we have 25 times 0 plus 15 times 11. And we get $165. And remember, we can keep writing the equation every time, or we can just plug it into our calculator. So we get 25 times 1 plus 15 times 10 is 175. 25 times 2 plus 15 times 9 is 185. 25 times 3 plus 15 times 8 is 195. 25 times 4 plus 15 times 7 is 205. 25 times 5 plus 15 times 6 is 215. 25 times 6 plus 15 times 5 is 225. Remember that 225 is the total that we are looking for. So in this case, we have the ordered pair 6, 5. And because we don't have X, Y, we're going to go in alphabetical order. So we have A for children, C, or A for adults and C for children. If it's a word problem, make sure that you write a sentence about what this point means then. So if we have the point 6, comma 5, there are 6 adults and 5 children going to the baseball game.